A very good evening. Welcome to the Club World Cup live here on LFS this evening as we conclude our second semi-final of the campaign. And what a tournament it has been so far. We are just 2 games away from knowing who will be the undisputed Club World Champions. And tonight we watch 2 sides well veiling for that trophy. 2 sides well capable of lifting that trophy come Sunday. It's PSG, the current reigning European champions, who won the Champions League just a few weeks ago for the very first time, and the 15-time European champions Real Madrid, who they face this evening. It is a very intriguing affair between these 2 football clubs, one set for a clash that could be worthy, very well worthy, of a final appearance, but only one will get there, and they already know their opponents, Chelsea, after their win over Fluminense last night in the other semi-final. We'll recap that in a moment, but the news to bring you this evening: originally, the game was an 8 p.m. UK time kickoff, so 3 p.m. local time in New York. It has been delayed 10 minutes, we believe. That is the detail that's come through to us. So it is a 10-minute delay, so it will be 10 past 8 UK time that this game will get underway. But anything else, any other information we need to let you know of, we will do so as best as we can and as quickly as we can for you. But for the moment, that is the news, that 10 minutes of a delay to this game. But let's be honest, I gotta say, we're looking forward to this one tonight. 2 very, very good sides, PSG, Real Madrid, 2 sides, as I said, worthy of a final appearance, and 2 sides worthy of this trophy. You know, we talk about PSG so often, and how in previous seasons they've never been able to get over the line in big competitions. They've never been able to get over the line in Europe. And this season it changed. This season was different for them, and they did get over the line. They got over that final hurdle, and they absolutely destroyed Inter in that Champions League final. This is going to be one of those games, although it's not a final, but this is going to be one of those games where they need to find their grit, their determination, everything that they kind of led up to that Champions League win. They need to put it all into tonight's performance, because yes, Real Madrid might not be at their strongest they've ever been, but they're still strong, and they're still Real Madrid. And those 2 aspects are still going to make it as tough as any other game in this competition for PSG. And then, if they get through, Chelsea is not an easy task either. For Real Madrid, really, They know the quality that they've possessed. They haven't really been at their ultimate best in this competition. A couple of games, I mean, even the quarter-final performance, they were cruising and then they kind of wobbled toward the end, which was a little bit of a strange ending to that game, and we'll get into it more throughout the game. But I think Real Madrid have a lot of kind of doubters to prove tonight. I think a lot of people believe in Real Madrid because it's Real Madrid, but I think some are going, yeah, this is a real test. If you want to have a real test, tonight is a real test. For both of these two teams, it will be a real test. And we'll see kind of which team comes out the better, which team comes out on top, and which team can progress to the final. And, you know, it will be an all-European final, but will it be the 15-time European champions or the current European champions that will face Chelsea in that final? We will find out over the next, hopefully, in the next 2 hours or so. We will have a definitive answer for you, as we are around about 10 minutes away from kickoff. It is just about to turn 8 o'clock, and look at those scenes at MetLifeStadium. An absolutely jam-packed stadium at MetLife. Those Real Madrid fans, there's a vast majority of them. There was over 70,000 inside MetLife last night for that Fluminense-Chelsea game. There is guaranteed more than that this evening. An 82,500 capacity stadium is MetLife Stadium in New York, and quite an incredible fulfilled that stadium this evening with those two sets of fans. Right, we have already seen one semi-final, as I mentioned. Let's have a look back on that. Last night, Fluminense beaten by 2-0 by Chelsea. Let's recap that game for you. Here's all the stats. Here's all the information you need to know from that game. And that key stat there, João Pedro scores a brace on his Chelsea debut against his former club, Fluminense. What a performance it was. What a debut it was for João Pedro. Two cracking goals, each better than the other. It was quite remarkable, the performance that he had last night, and just incredible of a debut. I think, for João Pedro, and the finishes. I mean, the first goal was fabulous, but the second goal kind of topped it, and I didn't think that was possible after his first goal. But if you look at the stats, the general stats of the game, it was a pretty even affair. It was more even than we kind of realised until we looked at the stats and we looked at the possession and we looked at everything that brings the game together. And you go, yeah, it was actually a pretty close game. And then you kind of realise, well, it just came down to too much class, really, from Chelsea, too much quality, and Fluminense just couldn't fend them off. And a great debut for João Pedro, off to a great start for Chelsea. Already opened his account and off and running, and already put his team into a final. He could be winning a trophy for Chelsea within days of becoming a Chelsea player. Quite incredible. We'll see how he goes there, and how Chelsea get on. Who they will play, we'll find out tonight. That was a great game last night. I absolutely loved it, and let's hope for more of the same as this game. As I said, PSG against Real Madrid, two European giants. Both now have had that trophy in their grasp. It is PSG who are the reigning European champions, but it is Real Madrid who have the European pedigree that is unmatched by any other club in the continent. And whether they can be overthrown tonight, or whether they will prevail, we will find out if Los Blancos can progress very shortly. And as I said, that live final between Chelsea and either PSG or Real Madrid is on Sunday, 8 o'clock kickoff, the live final of the Club World Cup, as you can see there. And it'll be from MetLifeStadium. That is hosting, did host last night's semi-final, is hosting tonight's semi-final, and of course will host the final on Sunday. Right, let's get to your comments, let's get to your chats, of course. Do get involved in the chat as well. What you think's going to happen tonight, who you think's going to go through, and what do you think of tonight's game? We're really looking forward to it, of course. I'm sure you are. I'm sure as soon as we saw what way the bracket could go, this was the dream scenario. And that dream is becoming a reality, and will kick off in about 6.5 minutes time. Remember the delay to kick off inside at MetLife. We're not too sure why that is. We believe it might be just the fact of the many people that are inside the stadium, but that are trying to still get into the stadium. I believe that is the case, but we haven't had any official confirmation of that. But we do know it is delayed until 8:10 UK time. Welcome in, Andy. Thank you very much for joining us. Hi all. Two very strong teams matching up. The ones who win are the ones who look like they want it more. I would agree. I think tonight it's so evenly matched, two sides that are so well matched. I think this could come down to the finest, the most minuscule details, and it could be a moment of class, it could be a mistake, it could be something of nothing really that wins this game for either team, and you really can't call it. I mean, you would say that probably PSG could be the favourites, as they are the reigning European champions, but nothing is certain. When you play Real Madrid, nothing's guaranteed. And that's what they will know coming into this game tonight, PSG, that yes, they might have conquered Europe, but this is about conquering the world now, and PSG will have to face off against one of the best in Europe to try and do that. And we'll see how they do tonight as they enter from the tunnel. Inside MetLife, of course, each player individually. That's the way we see it. Andy says PSG for the win. I don't think people understand how good they are. They are just incredible. I think the midfield of PSG is the best in the world at the moment. They are unstoppable. When that midfield gets going, of Vitinha, Ruiz, and of course João Neves, when they get going, when they combine, when they're in full motion and full flow, they're one of the toughest teams to stop in world football. And they're just incredible. What Luis Enrique's been able to do with them this season has just been remarkable. And it was there, but it wasn't unlocked, if you know what I mean. It was there. They all had the potential, but it's about unlocking that potential. It's about proving that potential and showing it on the world stage. And PSG have certainly done that this season. A team that couldn't were Real Madrid as they enter from the tunnel, and they will want to save face a little bit. They came into this tournament as the out-and-out favourites to win it, alongside Manchester City and PSG, who were the three favourites to claim this trophy, and two of those favourites will face off tonight. But Real Madrid know that if they want to be on the top step, they're going to have one of their best games this evening. They're going to have to show their best performance of the tournament tonight. They're going to have to show something they really haven't shown under Xabi Alonso so far. They've got quality, they've got confidence, they've got great players, but have they got that management style to beat PSG? That unbelievable extra sense that they need. And you just have to have a perfect game to beat this PSG side, as the Real Madrid players are now out on the fields. And we are about to get underway in a couple of minutes for this one in the semi-finals of the Club World Cup. It's PSG against Real Madrid. We'll have team news in just a moment. Welcome back to LFS for the Club World Cup semi-finals between PSG and Real Madrid. And let's get you the team news for this one. It is hot-footing it towards kick-off, and let's show you which way both teams line up this evening. Starting with PSG, the reigning European champions, who claimed their first European trophy just a few weeks ago under Luis Enrique after thrashing Inter 5-0. They'll want to do the same tonight and have a performance like that tonight against Real Madrid. Gigi Donnarumma starts in goal. A back four of Achraf Hakimi, Marquinhos the captain alongside Lucas Beraldo at centre-back with Willian Pacho suspended. Nuno Mendes at left-back. That midfield three of Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz and João Neves continues in the middle, with that front three of Kvaratskhelia, Ousmane Dembele and Desiré Doué leading the line. Not a busy bench for PSG, but 9 on the bench for them. Safonov, Tenas, Kamara, Lee, Mayulu, Zaire-Emery, Barcola, Ramos and Mbaye, all the subs for PSG. You can name 15 subs. PSG have only named 9 this evening for their squad, as Lucas Hernandez and Willian Pacho are both suspended. For Real Madrid tonight, Thibaut Courtois starts in goal. We're not too sure whether they've gone for a back four or a back five, but Fede Valverde's in that defence. No Trent Alexander-Arnold after a setback in training. He captains the side tonight, Fede Valverde, alongside Senthio and Rudiger, the centre-back partnership, with Fran Garcia at left-back. Aurelien Tchouameni, Arda Güler and Jude Bellingham are in midfield, with Vinicius Jr. off the right, Mbappe off the left, and Gonzalo Garcia, the star centre-forward, leading the line for the Madridistas tonight. On the bench for Madrid, they've named 14 players on their bench. Lunin, Ramon, Carvajal, Militao, Vasquez, Andres, Camavinga, Modric, Ceballos, Diaz, Enriquez, Martin, Munoz and Rodrigo. It is two European heavyweights facing off for a place in the final of the Club World Cup. Who will get there? Kickoff is next. A very good evening and welcome to LFS this evening for this one. Great to have you all with us for this PSG against Real Madrid. The Club World Cup semi-final, as I said, well befitting of a final. And there's the man himself, Michael Buffer, well known for his voice in boxing. Well, he is the voice of the MetLife ahead of this game this evening. As that famous phrase, let's get ready to rumble. And we are ready to rumble these two, PSG and Real Madrid, ready to lock horns. Only one can come out on top. Will it be La Parisienne or Los Blancos? We get underway in New York. And let's see, the city that never sleeps. Can we see if one of these two are caught napping tonight for the other to progress? Now both teams in their home strips. PSG in that navy blue. And of course Real Madrid in the famous white of Madrid. Two sides that basically you couldn't split hairs between these two. That's how closely matched they are. It will come down to individual quality. It will come down to big moments. It will come down to who's basically on it tonight. And I would certainly not want to bet either way on this one. Here's Achraf Hakimi. We know both sides want control. We know both sides want possession. And look at that for Madrid. That's lovely. Bellingham. Vinicius Jr. now. Lays it out wide here. Valverde. Back inside to Güler, who couldn't really get far, but he's found Tchouameni. A little bit unorthodox. And Tchouameni's strike takes a deflection for the corner. And that's a very energetic start from Real Madrid. Caught PSG in possession, and they already have their first set piece of the game. Mbappe takes it short. Vinicius Jr. a little bit cheaply gives it away there. The Desiree Doué. He's a little bit on his own, but he skips past his man down the right side. Doué and chops back, and quite fantastically keeps the ball away from the Madrid players down that side. Fabulous there from Desiree Doué. So here come PSG. Nuno Mendes down the left-hand side for Kvaratskhelia. Kvaratskhelia into the box, and his first effort hits the side netting. Well, they're not looking to slowly ease into the game, either of these two. They're ready and going from the kickoff, and that's what we want to see. Two very energetic sides, full of quality, going at it. That's what we so wish for, and that's what they wish to desire to give us tonight. Already inside 2.5 minutes. Both sides have had a good chance. Beraldo wins the header from the goal kick, but for a split second there Madrid had the ball. PSG have it back again. Kvaratskhelia. Nuno Mendes lays it into the midfield now. Joe Neves holding the ball up, waiting for an option. Finds Desiree Doué. Now out wide to Hakimi. He works it back to his captain Marquinhos. Beraldo. Nice ball into the midfield here. And that's lovely little combinations from Nuno Mendes there. Out wide it goes. Kvaratskhelia cuts it back to Vitinha. Now Kvaratskhelia again. Madrid with a bit of defending to do here. Sitting deep. Sitting compact. Doué trying to unlock that defence. Here's Marquinhos. The boos ring around from the Madrid fans. Here's Hakimi down the right hand side. Plays it into Dembele. Lovely little drag back. And find a shooting chance for Fabian Ruiz, who gets a great save out of Thibaut Courtois. And that's the first real involvement, and that's beautiful from PSG there. The drag back from Dembele. The step inside from Fabian Ruiz, and then the shot. Here's Hakimi though again. Dembele. Lovely little flick by Doué. And now Hakimi and a cross! Oh, what a save by Courtois. Unbelievable save. Absolutely unbelievable stuff. And now they're breaking away, Madrid. They're on the counter themselves. It's Fran Garcia. He's played it through. Mbappe. Shot blocked. Still alive. Mbappe. Got a bit loose, but he's found it through to Tchouaméni. What a start from PSG. Under the cosh a little bit from the first minute, but they've come alive all of a sudden. And now Madrid have a chance up the other end here. Vinicius Jr. Edge of the box. Garcia's delivery, it's bubbling up, it's flicked on, but it's only into the hands of Donnarumma. Well, how did Thibaut Courtois save that one? The fizzing cross by Achraf Hakimi. And then the shot in the centre. And how did it not find a way past Thibaut Courtois? I don't think any of us will ever know. And he's already been involved in two big saves early doors. The Real Madrid keeper. Vitinha. João Neves. Now Dembele dropping a little deeper, finds Doué. Lovely little close control from Desiré Doué. He's breaking into the box, he gets it across, but no one there. And Dembele nips it away. He's round the keeper. It's an empty net, it's 1-0. That is the relentless nature of Paris Saint-Germain. And the European champions are in front inside 6 minutes. It's Fabian Ruiz, who was denied minutes ago by Thibaut Courtois. Well, he wasn't going to deny him that time, because the net was gaping for the PSG number 8 to find the nets. And that he did. Relentless from the European champions. They came under a little bit of threat inside the first 2 minutes. But since that point, they have been electric. Untouchable. And Real Madrid were hanging on. And hanging on no more. Dembele steals it away from Asensio. Then they don't recover. Courtois brings Dembele down, trying to reach for the ball. The ball bounces, it falls for Fabian Ruiz, who has an empty net to find. And there was no doubting that he would find the empty net. And that is 1-0 PSG. It's poor from Asensio, it's poor from Real Madrid. But that's what the best do. They latch upon mistakes, they force mistakes. And PSG have already carved their way through Real Madrid. Paris Saint-Germain 1, Real Madrid 0. Top quality from PSG. Fabulous. Just fabulous. And now Real Madrid want to attack and respond quickly as the ball into the box goes all the way through. And out the other end, it was Vinicius Jr. with that threatening ball in. Gonzalo Garcia trying to throw himself at it, but it went all the way through and out the other end for a goal kick. My goodness. That would have been some response from Real Madrid. What a start to this game. What a start. Andy says, I think Real think Madrid are the underdogs in this game. When can you ever say that? Against someone playing a Madrid side, you've got to be completely true. You can almost never say that when it comes to Real Madrid. Oh, they've got it away again here, PSG. It's Ousmane Dembele. It's 2-0. Another mistake, another goal. And Paris Saint-Germain are running riots at the MetLifeStadium. The New York Jets, the New York Giants could never. PSG, this is their stadium. This is their field. And Real Madrid have been absolutely destroyed. What a start for PSG. Ousmane Dembele with his seconds. And they are shell-shocked. The Madrid players, absolute shell-shock. Ousmane Dembele punches the air in celebration. His 35th goal of the campaign. And this again, another mistake. It's Rudiger. I don't know what he's trying to do. I think he's trying to pass it, but he completely kind of airballs it. Gets none of the ball. And Ousmane Dembele there again to pick the pocket of the defender. And this time through one-on-one. Courtois can do nothing about it. And he tucks it in the net. Ousmane Dembele. This is just quality. Unbelievable from PSG. Real Madrid, 2 centre-backs, 2 mistakes, 2 goals conceded. This is what Real Madrid used to do to other teams. It's being done to them. And Ousmane Dembele finds the second. 2-0 PSG. As I was saying, this is what Real Madrid used to do to other teams. They used to carve teams open easily. And PSG are giving Real Madrid a taste of their own medicine here. And some. Fabulous from the European champions. Unbelievable start. Here's Vitinha. And they're not going to want to stop there. Here's Desiree Doué now. Out to Achraf Hakimi. Doué again. Now they're flowing. Now they've got the energy in their veins. Now they've got all the rhythm of the game and the momentum, PSG. And Doué trying to go himself there, and he was caught late by Fran Garcia. And that's going to be a free kick to PSG. They just can't cope with him at the minute. They just cannot cope. We said about Xabi Alonso's team needing to have their best game under him to go through here. They might just be having their worst start to a game under him. There's not many to choose from, but this will certainly be the highest on that list. It might be a very short list, but this has been some start from PSG and quite the most awful start for Real Madrid. And now they have a free kick to defend here. Vitinha's over it on this right hand side for PSG now. Right footed, whipped in, headed away by Gonzalo Garcia, and the ball will bounce out for a throw in. Just coolness there. And he's trying to incite a bit of coolness into his team, Xabi Alonso, but really at this minute in time, the coolest on that pitch is every one of those players in navy blue. 33-degree heat at the MetLifeStadium, and the hottest out there are PSG. They're on fire so far. And just, as I said, Real Madrid just haven't been able to cope with them. Just unbelievable. Again, they're just running into shadows here, Real Madrid, and again, another cheap foul given away, this time by Mbappe. And João Neves was the one that was brought down, and a free kick given quickly here to PSG. And of course, that man, Kylian Mbappe, made that move to Real Madrid on a free transfer from PSG last summer to try and win big trophies, and ever since he's left, it's PSG that have conquered Europe, and it's PSG that are dominating his current side. Gary says, boom, 2 goals. Indeed, boom, 2 goals. Andy says Real Madrid are not that bad. It's just PSG at the minute are that good. They beat the Villa, and we blow hot and cold. You can beat us on our best day. They played us on our best day and beat us in the Champions League. They did. I mean, I think Aston Villa were quite remarkable, and they were really impressive in that game in the Champions League. Was that the quarterfinals? I think it was. It was, yeah. And I remember watching that game, and Villa looked like they were down and out, and then they came alive and almost caused PSG problems, but they just hung on in there. And sometimes that's what the best sides do when they're not at their best. They still find a way to get over the line, to find a way through, and nothing epitomises that more than the struggles and the most difficult of circumstances in the quarterfinals, of course, against Bayern Munich, where they were down to 9 men. They had 2 players sent off, PSG, and still they kept a clean sheet. They won by 2 goals. I mean, it was the definition of, you're not on our level, no matter how many players you get out of our team. You're just not on our level. And that's what PSG are at the moment. No one's on their level. It's that simple. Well, Real Madrid have a free kick here. Arda Güler will lift it into the box. Headed away by Marquinhos. Not fully cleared though. It's still alive, as that was calmly dealt with by Fabian Ruiz and Nuno Mendes in the box. But Nuno Mendes gives it away cheaply as they battle to win it back again. And that they do, PSG. It's just instinctive. Even when you think they've got nothing to give or got no passes or no options, they just find something. Sensational. Again, even when they're trying to pass it around their own defence, Real Madrid, there's just no rhythm. And PSG are there to nip it away again. And there they're through again. Here's Desiree Doué. A heavy touch let him down. And he's going to give away a free kick for the late lunge there on Fran Garcia. But again, they were in, PSG. And by that heavy touch from Desiree Doué, he would have had a chance at charging at the goal. Beraldo did well to offset Gonzalo Garcia there and goes out for the throw on the far side. Well, they might be outnumbered, those PSG fans inside the stadium, but they don't look or sound like it at this moment in time. I'm looking forward to actually getting the official attendance of this game, because I would say it would be pretty close to being packed out. It looks offside here, Ousmane Dembele, as he received the ball. The flag stays down for the moment. He's played it in behind to Hakimi, and then the flag goes up. He looked quite a yard or two offside there, pretty clearly. Ousmane Dembele just didn't get himself back onside in time. Yeah, he was hanging a good 2 yards offside there. The Frenchman. A free kick to Real Madrid. I think they need a little bit of respite, Madrid. They've not been able to breathe so far, per the relentless nature and the relentless start from PSG. And again, running into no man's land and giving it right back to PSG there again. Raul Asencio, and he just charged forward, tried to find something, tried the pass, and it literally just found a PSG body. I mean, there's nothing in this at the minute from Real Madrid. They are completely lost. And they need to find themselves again, and fast, before they are completely down and out in this game, before the first half is even over. That's what kind of threat PSG are posing at the moment. Here's Kvaratskhelia down the left-hand side. He's got Valverde for company. He wants to get a bit of space. Shot was blocked when it eventually came. PSG couldn't retrieve it that time, but they did on the second round, as try to squeeze it through the lines there, Bellingham. But tried too much. Nuno Mendes. A little bit more of an inverted role for him. Plays it out wide to Kvaratskhelia. Tiptoeing around the edge of the box, the Georgian. Vitinha. Swings it towards the box. Headed away at the back post by Fran Garcia. Picked up by Dembele. Now Vitinha again. And PSG keep the ball moving. No matter what sort of situation unfolds, they seem to have it all covered at the minute, PSG. They've had 64% of the possession so far in this one. 6 shots, 3 big chances in the first 18 minutes. That is a shot every 3 minutes and a big chance every 6 minutes on average so far from PSG. There's Gianni Infantino. And then the chairman, or the head honchos at either club, Florentino Perez, and of course the I forget his name. I want to get his name to make sure I'm right. I can't remember his name at the moment. The PSG kind of chairman, Nasser Al Khelaïfi. That's what it is. Nasser Al Khelaïfi on the other side of Gianni Infantino. Wouldn't want to be in the middle of those two at the minute. One very angry person on one side and one very happy person on the other side. And Gianni Infantino in the middle as the referee. Lovely ball by Lucas Beraldo, finding Nuno Mendes, and down the left-hand side comes Kvaratskhelia, forcing his way into the box, chops onto the right foot, not got much space to find, and he has to rescue it out, and back to Fabian Ruiz. Neves now finds Hakimi, who will hit one, but he hits it bobbling wide off the left, wide of the left post there. Hakimi, he's got a goal in him, the fullback. You've got to say, the PSG fullback's one of the most incredible at finding the final third out of any fullbacks in world football at the minute. Nuno Mendes and Achraf Hakimi. Hakimi, who's a goal and an assist in this tournament in the knockout stages. 2 goals so far, one against Seattle and one against Inter Miami in this tournament. Well, that's a lovely ball over the top here. Vinny Jr.'s got in behind. He's not going to get the chance to shoot, as he was completely dispossessed by Nuno Mendes on the retrieval. And that was a necessary challenge. A rare foray forward there from Madrid. It was a long ball in behind the PSG defence by Courtois. And Vinicius Jr. made the run. He broke the offside trap, but he didn't get past Nuno Mendes. PSG 2, Real Madrid 0. 20 minutes gone in this semi-final at MetLifeStadium of the Club World Cup. And it is the European champions pretty much in cruise control at the moment. Oh, they've given it away cheaply there. Very rarely they do that. There's Nuno Mendes with the overhead pass. Here's Vinicius Jr. lofting it into the box, but dealt with, and dealt with again by Vitinha. Now laid out wide to Kvaratskhelia. But once again, it just seems like even if something doesn't go right for PSG, they've always got the backup plan. They've always got something to figure out to get back onto the ball and get back into their shape and into their comfort again. There's Hakimi. Thumps one down the right channel. Doué will chase. He's got Fran Garcia for company. Desiree Doué holding it around about the corner flag here. He's trying to get it out of the pressure from Fran Garcia. As he turns, he finds it back to Hakimi. Now Dembele. It's great hold-up play, by the way, from Desiree Doué. It's a lovely switch ball by Vitinha. And now Kvaratskhelia dribbling into the box onto his right foot, trying to backheel it towards Fabian Ruiz, but he couldn't on that occasion, but he battles to win it back again, the Georgian. Just immense from PSG, and I think that was just wonderful. He lost the ball, Kvaratskhelia, but he won it back right away. Just incredible so far, PSG. Class above. Beraldo swings it out wide to Hakimi. Dembele kind of flicks it, but flicks it right into the path of his international teammate Kylian Mbappe. And now he has to track back and try and help his team defend this. Mbappe's into the box. Mbappe will shoot, but he kind of loops it up into the air and gets no fire behind it whatsoever. Kind of a balloon shot, and it looped up and into the hands of Gianluigi Donnarumma. Andy says, I took my captain last minute off Dembele on to Kylian Mbappe because he was starting. Oh my goodness. Well, you never know. Kylian Mbappe might have a good game. He might still have a good game. You're completely right, Andy. Madrid have the quality to score 2 at any given moment. There's no doubt about that. But how realistic is it? Look at this from PSG again. And Hakimi's got options galore. It's into the middle. It's a chance. It's another goal. And it's Fabian Ruiz. This is silky smooth football from Paris Saint-Germain. And they've got another one. They're racking up the numbers. They're leaving white shirts in their wake. And Fabian Ruiz on the double has PSG 3-0 to the good. And we've only played 24 minutes. Absolutely wonderful. The way they transition from back to front is so unbelievably beautiful. It is sensational. Hakimi starts it. He plays it into Dembele. Dembele spins and turns. Hakimi continues on that run. And he plays it back to Hakimi. Hakimi's got a gaping hole to find. He's got options in the middle. He takes that option. He squares it across. He finds Fabian Ruiz, who takes a touch and buries it into the bottom right corner. The way they move, the way they get forward, is like no other. Silky isn't a word for it. If there's a better word for it, then use it, because that is applicable. The European champions are absolutely burying the 15-time European champions. PSG 3, Real Madrid 0, and we're only in the 25th minute. Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, it's just the way they do it. I mean, there's just not words. There's just not words to describe how unbelievable this is. I mean, I know I witnessed this a few weeks ago in the Inter Milan game in the Champions League final, but I don't know, somehow this is better. I don't know how it's better, but it is. Not in terms of the occasion, but in terms of the pure football is just unimaginably perfect. If there ever was such a thing in football, and they say perfection is unachievable in football, you just can't. There's always a way you can do something better. If there's anything as close to perfection as you can get, this is what PSG are. It's that simple. It's that simple. They're tearing teams apart for fun. For fun. And now they're having fun of their own, playing it around here. Nice ball out to João Neves here. This left side. And there's lots of white shirts in the way, but it's almost like they're passengers to what's going on. You can put them, set them a bit deeper. You can put them in compact positions. You can kind of have them go into a low block. But somehow, you might have 8 or 9 Real Madrid players defending, and still PSG are able to carve them open at ease, at will. Incredible. Incredible. Here's Desiree Doué. Force it into the middle there, Ruiz, and that's a late challenge there from Aurelien Tchouameni, and he's going to get a yellow card for his foul on Achraf Hakimi. He had poked ball by Ruiz into Hakimi further infield, and Tchouameni's just more than a second late, and he gets himself a yellow card for that challenge. on the Moroccan. Vitinha. Hakimi. Back to Marquinhos. Back to Beraldo, who goes all the way back to Donnarumma. PSG have done this to a lot of big clubs. That they have. That they have. They're tearing this team apart. If there's ever a need for a humbling, and this will certainly be the ultimate humbling for Real Madrid. The game's not done and dusted, but 3-0 after 25 minutes. I mean, you're lucky to still be alive, really. Hakimi there trying to cut it back into the box, and Bellingham has to make a late challenge to force it out for the corner. And a little bit of a F-sick, shall we say, to keep it PG, to put it out for the corner. And that's, I'm sure, what all the Madrid players will be feeling at the moment. They just can't, I don't know how, they just can't handle it. There's just there is no handling this PSG side when they're in this type of mood. There ain't no one that's beating this team. Vitinha over to take this corner. This is only their first corner of the game, funnily enough, for PSG. Vitinha will take it. Right hand side. Right footed in swinger. All the way through. No one can really get their head towards it as it falls for Nuno Mendes on the left hand side. Fran Garcia trying to break him away. Now Mendes with a cross. Up in the air by Asensio, and Garcia flicks it away from the box. Only as far as Kvaratskhelia, who turns beautifully and has a shot, but that was well blocked on the edge. And then fed back to Donnarumma on the rebound. Just simple from PSG. They've got it all figured out. And here comes Nuno Mendes again. Kvaratskhelia chops onto his right. Kvaratskhelia swings it to the back post. Here's Dembele free. He cuts it back, but he's offside. He's offside. That would have been another glorious move, but just couldn't keep himself on. Oh. Yeah, it wasn't Dembele that was off. It was actually Kvaratskhelia in the build-up that was offside there. As we're going to have a little bit of a cooling break, and I'm sure PSG will be happy to see it, just to give themselves a little bit more kind of hydration after the hard work they've put in the first 30 minutes. But Real Madrid, hard work with no reward, really. They are nowhere in this game, and they are more than happy to see that drinks break. Just take a rest from actually trying to defend, because they've been exclusively defending for the last 30 minutes. Don't forget who will be facing Chelsea in the final. We'll find out very, very soon, within the next hour and a half, of course, in this one. And the final is on Sunday, 8 o'clock UK time. We will be live here again at the MetLifeStadium, as Chelsea will be the designated home side. So if PSG are to go through, they will more than likely not be playing in their home strip. They will be playing in a different colour. But that's getting ahead of ourselves. Real Madrid won't have that problem if it were to be that case, but at the moment we're not betting against anybody. We might not need to, but who knows. See the goals again. I mean, you could watch it over and over and over again and still not get bored. I mean, there's just nothing quite like beautiful football, and PSG are the epitome of it at the minute. The absolute epitome of gorgeous football. Fabulous. And it's just that they're just, at the minute, PSG are on top of this game in every area. That is quite simple. They're on top in every area. And as I said, Real Madrid are just passengers in this game. They're not able to deal with it. And we see kind of replays of the goals, the reactions from the Real Madrid camp. I mean, what must they be thinking at this minute in time? I don't even know what they must be thinking. What is there to think? It'll be shell shock. It'll be disbelief. It'll be, are we actually? Is this real? Are we not in a dream? Kind of, just as I say, shell shock. Really. This is what PSG are capable of. We've seen it before, and I'm sure we'll see it again more than once. But this evening, I kind of expected two teams to go at it with each other and it be one of those real classics. I'm not saying this isn't, but I expected Real Madrid to be able to compete with this more, but it's just PSG are just too good. It's that simple. There's no other explanation for it other than that. The Godicos. That Barca side with Iniesta and now PSG, three of the best teams I've ever seen assembled in the way they play. I mean, PSG are what you dream your team can play like. And I think in a 2-year spell I did see Liverpool play as the best team in the world in that 2019-2020 period. But I think this PSG team would beat any of those teams. I think, as you say, only that Barca team, that Pep Barca team of 08-09, that era, that would probably be the only team that could compete because of the way, how intense their press is, how good their football is, how instinctive their passing is, how incredibly unbelievable their press is. It's just out of this world and how amazing it is. And I don't want to sit all night and think, you know, oh, how good are PSG? We want to have a good conversation. We want to have a good chat about football, but you just can't ignore it. You can't ignore how amazing this is. And I mean, for Ousmane Dembele, it just gets better and better for his Ballon d'Or claims. Here's Desiree Doué. Oh, another heavy touch from him. Another great ball, another great moment, another great chance, but another little heavy touch from Desiree Doué. He could have had 2 goals himself. He could have had 2 chances at goal himself here. 2 heavy touches let him down. Vinicius Jr. though, for Real Madrid. A rare attack for Los Blancos in this game. Mbappe dribbling into Kvaratskhelia, and now Kvaratskhelia is trying to burst down the left channel as he breaks away. He's got options. Kvaratskhelia goes himself, and a recovery challenge there by Jude Bellingham. Wins the ball back for Real Madrid. PSG for a split second were claiming it was a foul, but the referee quite clearly said he got the ball and nothing more. Jude Bellingham. Simon Marciniak, our referee this evening from Poland. Well known to both of these two teams. Simon Marciniak, a very well experienced European referee. They will know him well, these two sets of players. Gonzalo Garcia, who's barely had a kick this evening. He's lit up previous games for Real Madrid in this tournament, and he's yet to be ignited tonight. Gonzalo Garcia. Lovely little turn around the corner there from Goulart. Tchouaméni. Bellingham. Can they get a little bit of possession just to reel themselves back in as the half comes closer to a close? Lovely from Jude Bellingham there. And now Mbappe. He was challenged in the box. He was fairly challenged, says the referee. He didn't feel so, the Frenchman. But the team from his home country have got the ball and they're trying to break away. The referee stopped it as he's now holding his head, Kylian Mbappe. How convenient is all I'll say. How convenient. I mean, I don't know how it's a head injury. I mean, there's no situation there where his head is even touched. I mean, that is the most scammiest fake injury I have ever seen. I mean, he's literally down on the ground. The referee's letting the game play on. PSG are ready to break down the left-hand side. The referee calls a halt to the game because Kylian Mbappe's gone like this. Put his hand on his head. But at no point when he was challenged was his head touched. Or did his head touch the ground and he's up and fine. I mean, they all do it. But, I mean, it's just, what? I mean, it's the referee for falling for it that's the silly part of it. But, my goodness. We saw a shot there of the French head coach, Didier Deschamps. There's a lot of his players on show tonight for both teams. Ousmane Dembele and Désiré Doué starting for PSG tonight, both French internationals, and of course Kylian Mbappe and Aurélien Tchouameni on the other side. Lovely little 1-2 there. Here's a chance for Kvaratskhelia. He's missed the target. From a moment and from a position you would bet that he would find the net. He puts it wide. Chops back inside. Asensio has the space, has the time, has the chance, and pokes it well wide of the goal with his right foot. He uses his instep there, Kvaratskhelia. It's 4-0. But he kind of toe pokes it, and it just goes arrowed out and wide. Well, you've got to say, you know, we talk about what we've seen this campaign, this season, 24-25, of who are the best players in the world, who are the top. And this is why France, as a country, as an international team, are always going to be favourites, or have been favourites, for a lot of international tournaments over the last few years. And why they will continue to be so is because they have so many great talents in attacking areas. Ousmane Dembele and Désiré Doué for PSG, lighting it up. Lighting it up. Kylian Mbappe always got the quality, always got the class, and has the experience at the highest level to do his very best. Tchouameni, great player in the midfield, really can use his physicality and his passing to a great extent for France. But in terms of attacking quality, this could be the front three come the World Cup next summer. Mbappe, Doué and Dembele. That could be the World Cup front three. Oh, there's another chance over the top. That ball is too far ahead of Dembele. Doué gets a touch, tries to bring it down. But couldn't control it that time, Désiré Doué, as Tchouameni does well to work it round the corner. Now Fede Valverde for Real Madrid, sorry. Tchouameni again. Valverde down the right hand side it goes now. Nice little give and go there. Ball trying to be cut back across the box. Still alive, Valverde. Forced wide. Again, trying to dribble through the lines there. Cut out on that occasion. Once again was Gonzalo Garcia. No room to manoeuvre. PSG fans loving this. There's no doubt they should be. 42.5 minutes gone in this Club World Cup semi-final, and it has been slightly far from a contest up to this point. It's been all PSG. It's been PSG from start to finish, really, in this first half, and you probably could have more goals, which goes to show how good they have played. They could be even further ahead, and that's quite crazy to say that they're already 3-0 up and they could be even further in front. If you remember back to the 18th minute, when PSG had 6 shots and 3 big chances in those 18 minutes, we do this again. They've had 10 shots in 43 minutes, so 1 shot every 4 minutes, and 4 big chances, 1 every 10 minutes. I mean, that is still unbelievably high in terms of how well they've played in this first half, in terms of their attack and output. And now even more possession than they had earlier. 76% possession so far for PSG in this first half. Here's Hakimi. In behind for Dembele. Back across it goes. And away in behind from Asencio. And the flag, I think, was raised anyway against Ousmane Dembele. Made us run a little bit too early on that occasion. Yeah, just leaning offside a slight bit. Well spotted by the assistant, but and they've had 10 shots, PSG, right? They're the player with the highest and the most shots in this game. I thought I had that detail, but I don't for the moment. I do apologise. I thought I had that information, but no, it's not coming up. Anyway, they have 10 shots. 5 of those on target from PSG. It's just fabulous. Fabulous. We're about 10 seconds away from finding out how long it will be added on at the end of this first half. You know, 3 additional minutes it will be. 3 more to go with the team 3-0 up in PSG as we edge closer to the interval here at MetLife, and a half-time break that I'm sure Real Madrid and their players will be more than chuffed to see when it comes around, because they will be desperate to get off this field and kind of start debriefing what actually happens. What has just unfolded in this first half, and Hakimi did well there. He knew he wasn't going to beat past his man, and he got a touch off Fran Garcia, and he wins the corner. And we've got another corner here, PSG. Only their second of the game. They've not been racking up the corners. It's only 3 corners in total of the half, and only the second for PSG. Not been many of those so far. So Vitinha will come out and take this corner as he did the first for PSG in this half. Bodies lining up in the middle. Vitinha fizzes it into the box. It's again over the head of everybody. It falls for Nuno Mendes, who breaks a chance himself, has a shot. Very well saved by Courtois. And now Real Madrid want a counter, but counter they cannot. Oh, because it's going to be pulled back for a foul on Arda Güler by João Neves. Going to be a little tug, and that's going to be a free kick and a yellow card for Neves. And a free kick here to Real Madrid with a minute to go of the half. Nice ball in between the lines there. In behind it goes for Mbappe. But again, Donnarumma too quick. Fabulous ball by Güler, but again, Donnarumma is just too quick and alert and comes charging out to grasp the ball ahead of Kylian Mbappe. Hakimi. Neves. Cuts it back to Beraldo. And now Nuno Mendes. Ruiz. Flick ball in behind. Here's Dembele. He's got another body in the middle. He's going to go himself. Oh! And I think Courtois might have got a hand to that one to poke it over the bar. Dembele glanced across, looking for Desiree Doué, who was there, and then decided, you know what, I'm going to chip it and go myself. And he did, and it forced Courtois into palming it over the crossbar and out for the corner. And that, there's no corner time to take the corner because there's the half-time whistle from the referee. That was a pretty audacious jump from Ousmane Dembele, but when you're 3-0 up and cruising, those are the times to take those chances and to try something like that. And he tried it, and Courtois just about denied him. But what a first half we have seen here at MetLifeStadium. It has been PSG running riot against Real Madrid. The European champions are looking like they're going to steamroller their way to the Club World Cup final. Half-time at MetLife, it is PSG 3, Real Madrid 0. We'll be back to analyse that first half in just a couple of minutes. Welcome back to the FIFA Club World Cup live here on LFS for the second of our semi-finals, and this evening it has been a little bit of a whitewash in the first half. It has been all PSG. It's actually been the exact opposite of a whitewash, because white would mean Real Madrid are doing well. It's been more of a Parisian wash in a way. PSG 3-0 up at half-time and absolutely cruising. Real Madrid have been nowhere near their level in this first half, and that's the long and short of it, really. PSG have been world class. Real Madrid have been backseat drivers in a sense. They have just not been in this game whatsoever. Probably the first minute, the first 90 seconds was probably the most promising part of the game for Real Madrid, when they had that early corner and that early attack and that early little threat. But since that point, they have been nowhere to be seen in an attacking sense, and they've almost exclusively been on the back foot and defending for the whole of the first half. And really, the early goal sets the precedent. It sets the idea. It sets the precedent of, not even actually before the goal. If we go back to the first 2-3 minutes, Real Madrid had that little moment with the corner, and then up come PSG right up the other end. Kvaratskhelia hits the side netting, if you remember. And then that next 2 minutes unfolds. The two big saves. Fabian Ruiz forces a save of Courtois. Then another save from another cross from Hakimi into the box from their first big effort again, then PSG. And then they get the goal. So they have 3 or 4 big chances early in the game before they score. And then they do score with Fabian Ruiz. It's all about relentlessness. It's all about keeping the ball alive. And that's what they do so well, PSG. When one thing doesn't go right, one thing doesn't work, when the next thing they're being blocked or they're being challenged, they come away with the ball somehow. They relentlessly keep it. And then they get their opportunity. Fabian Ruiz puts into an empty net fabulously. Then the second goal comes a couple of minutes later. Ousmane Dembele latches upon a mistake by an air ball by Antonio Rudiger. He gets in behind, one-on-one with Courtois, and he pockets it into the bottom corner. Fabulous from Dembele. And they were 2-0 up inside 10 minutes. And at the time, I think the whole way through that first half, it was just shell shock from Real Madrid. Just complete disbelief as to actually what was happening, what was unfolding in front of their eyes. And then the third goal comes, and this is probably the most gorgeous piece of football I've seen in this tournament. It is just unbelievable transitional football from back to front, down that right hand side. The combination between Dembele and Achraf Hakimi is sensational. And then the cross from Hakimi, finding Ruiz, who takes the touch, he takes it past his man, and then he buries it into the bottom right corner. I mean, it's just been an absolute riot from Real Madrid, or from PSG against Real Madrid, and Madrid just haven't been able to cope. They just haven't been able to stop them, or even put anything of a dent in what PSG have done. You look at the momentum chart, it's all PSG from the first half. Real Madrid had 4 shots. I don't know where they came from or what they were, but I don't remember any of them in that first half, because they were that unmemorable, really, in the fact that they really didn't cause any sort of problems in the game. And I think actually bar the, if I'm right, Kylian Mbappe's shot in the 5th minute is their only shot on target of this game for Real Madrid. That's how rare they've got forward, that their only shot on target came in the first 5 minutes before they conceded, before they went 1-0 down. That basically just shows how dominant and how on this PSG have been, and how vacant, not by their own want or by their own lack of quality, Real Madrid, just the fact that they've just been outclassed. I think it was a similar case last night, in a way, albeit very different game, 2 very different opponents, 2 very different expectations, and all of that was completely different. But in the way that the game panned out, Fluminense were never out of the game against Chelsea, but they were, in a way, that they were just outclassed on the night, and Chelsea just played a very professional game and got the job done. I think tonight, it's just they've been outclassed, Real Madrid. It's not that they've played awful or nowhere near it or any of that, or they've gifted goals, basically. I think partly they have, but I think it's just been outclassed by PSG. They've just been too good for them, and they might have got a little bit of a helping hand with one or two moments, but you still have to put the ball in the back of the net. You still have to do the hard yards. You still have to dominate the game, which not many teams ever do against Real Madrid for a full 45 minutes. To have 77% of the ball against Real Madrid in any game, you have to be playing out of this world, or Real Madrid are playing absolutely awfully. And it's just PSG are playing out of this world. It's that simple. Being just simple. Andy says every other national team is in trouble this World Cup with that France side. They definitely are. But we've seen that with France. They've been in the world. They were in the last two World Cup finals. One they won, one they lost. They lost on penalties to Lionel Messi. It's not unexcusable. France would have held the World Cup back to back if it wasn't for Lionel Messi. It's that simple. So this French squad have been great for many a year, and it doesn't look like that. The youth is still coming through, and the youth is probably as good, if not better, than the original French World Cup champions, which is crazy to say, but we'll see how they perform under Didier Deschamps next summer in the US. And MetLife is actually the venue for the World Cup final next summer, so some of those French players might get used to this stadium if they get that far next summer. Zaharab says, call me crazy, but this game is rigged. I will call you crazy. It is anything but rigged. This is just the most glorious performance from PSG, and just the most outclassed Real Madrid have been in many's a year. And even when they have been outclassed before, even when they have been second best in games before Real Madrid, they've found a way to grind it out and come through the other side victorious. I mean, I hark back to that 2022 Champions League final against Liverpool where they were completely destroyed, Real Madrid, and they still won the game because Courtois had the game of his life, and they ground their way through it. They found a way to win. It just doesn't seem like that's even on the cards at this minute in time for Real Madrid to find a way to win. They're basically just trying to find a way to not be embarrassed at this moment in time. That's what we're talking about here at this minute in time. Sorry, I'll get to more of those chats in those comments in a moment. The second half is hotly on the horizon here, and as we see the Hudson River and an aerial shot there, we can remind you of what's to come here in LFS. One final game of the officially the 24-25 campaign, and this is it. It is Chelsea against either PSG or Real Madrid in the Club World Cup final. Sunday, 8 o'clock kickoff UK time, and we will play it to a close, of course, to see who will be the undisputed world champions. And as a year gone past, the Club World Cup has been won by the Champions League winners. Could that be the case again? We'll find out when that comes around on Sunday. And that is our final game of the 24-25 campaign. We will finish this Sunday. We will take a break. We will be resting for a good 2 weeks or so, 2-3 weeks, before we're right back up and again at the start of August for the new campaign, the 25-26 campaign. And it'll be a well-needed break, shall I say, but we will produce content while we are away, so no need to worry about that. We will have content being put out on the channel. It's just we won't be, and it won't have any live watch-alongs over that period, but we will be back sooner than you realise, really, on that front. And speaking of sooner rather than you realise, we'll be back for the second half sooner than you realise. Just a moment. Welcome back to the Club World Cup Live here in LFS. Here's a reminder of the brackets for you and how each side has got to this point. so far on this right-hand side is where these two teams are displayed. PSG beat Inter Miami in the round of 16 and outclassed quarter-finalists Bayern Munich in the last 8. Real Madrid overcame Juventus in a narrow win and then narrowly beat Dortmund as well in the quarter-finals in what was a classic finish. But it is PSG their opponents tonight, and there is really very little competition between these two teams at this moment in time. Time will tell whether it can change or whether it will be a different outcome come the final whistle. But at this minute, there is seemingly only one outcome that looks realistic and that looks like it will be the case, and that will be a PSG win. But you never know. You never know. And I've never said that believing it less than I just did. As we are right to get back underway in a moment, as we get going once again for the second half of this Club World Cup semi-final between Real Madrid and PSG. And it is PSG 3 goals to the good as we are halfway through this game. Andy says Chelsea are not going to keep a clean sheet against PSG, that's for sure. Madrid could come back, but they need a turn of events to come back. They certainly do need a turn of events if they're going to find a way back into this game, Real Madrid. And they need the next goal, and they need it quickly, I think, to change, completely flip the momentum of this game. It's not beyond the realms of possibility, but it is going to be tough, even for Real Madrid. Valverde trying to drive down that right side. Challenged by Kvaratskhelia. And there to pick up the pieces, Nuno Mendes. Now Kvaratskhelia lays it off to Ruiz, who's got a free man in Desiree Doué on the far side, who beautifully takes it down with a lovely deft touch. Now feeds it out wide to Hakimi. Doué challenged off the ball. Referee says play on. Plays the advantage. Desiree Doué gets back to his feet and gets the ball again. Gives it back to Vitinha. Chernevish trying to work it between the lines there. A little bit overplayed there from PSG. Bellingham completely taken off the ball with ease. Oh, a mistake, a lack of communication there from PSG. And here's a chance. Vinicius Jr. chipping it into the box. So it once wonderfully recovered by Lucas Beraldo, who was the calmest man in there, and just easily headed it back to his keeper. Kvaratskhelia bobbling it through, finding Dembele, who rolls it through here. Doué's one-on-one. Doué for 4-0. But he's offside. The flag's gone up as the ball finds the net. See it again here. Kvaratskhelia. Is Dembele onside? He's just off, I think. And then he just rolls it round the corner to Desiree Doué, who quite fantastically finds the net, but he was offside, Dembele. Unfortunately for PSG, but the ease of which they found the way through there. He wasn't miles off, Dembele. He was probably a yard off, but it wasn't by the biggest of margins. Here's Kvaratskhelia. He's trying to dribble his way through. Can't quite get through them all. Squares it out wide. Hakimi, nice ball in behind for Doué. Doué rifles it across the box, but it's punched away by Courtois. Full stretch, and then as PSG try and win it back, João Neves committing a foul on Jude Bellingham. Has to watch himself, João Neves, of course, on a yellow card. Here's Kylian Mbappe from the free kick. There's a bit of space here for Real Madrid. Here's Gonzalo Garcia trying to return it to his man. He will get a second chance at it. The ball comes off Mendes. Goulet. Now Mbappe holding the ball up in the box. Got options. Goes himself. Tries to charge his way around Beraldo. Spins to try and hold it off to Gonzalo Garcia. But Fabian Ruiz is there to pick up the pieces and get it away for PSG. A little bit scrappy it's come all of a sudden here. Nice from Madrid all of a sudden. Tchouaméni challenged. And Bellingham will rocket one, but the free kick's actually going to go against Real Madrid, I believe, there. Yeah. The referee's actually given it the way of PSG. João Neves fouled by Caoimhan, rather than the other way about, as we see the decision system showing us the offside, and he was leaning offside again, Dembele. He was a yard offside. He was just went too early. I think the pass was still on, even if he'd held his run there, Dembele. The space was there. He just got a little bit excited. To Ousmane Dembele. As we see Luka Modric warming up. 39 years old, and could his, if he does come on, would that be his final appearance for Real Madrid? Of course, he will leave the club after his final appearance. Whenever Real Madrid go out of this competition, whether they go out as winners in the final or go out tonight, one of them will be Luka Modric's final game for Real Madrid. So far, it looks like tonight might be the date in the diary that they didn't want to see come their way. That's what time does. Sneaks up on you. 39-year-old Luka Modric might be coming out to make his final stand for Real Madrid this evening. Caoimhan back to his feet. He was down for a moment there, Caoimhan, after that collision with João Neves. But he is on the sidelines and it will be okay to continue in a few moments. Beraldo. Neves. Back to Lucas Beraldo. Lobs it into the over the top of the midfield, finding Doué, but Doué's pass a little bit loose towards João Neves. Oh, loose again from the Madrid defence. Here's Desiree Doué as they mop it up through Fede Valverde tracking back. But again, every time Madrid do something right, they kind of mess it up and make up for it by making a mistake. And that was a little bit too enthusiastic from Desiree Doué there on Fran Garcia. Another free kick to Real Madrid. Can't see Madrid getting chances. It's like Liverpool v Southampton. One-way traffic. And they've had better possession in the second half, Madrid, but minimal, but better possession. But you're right. This doesn't seem like PSG are too worried. This could be good, though. Mbappe! Oh, well over the bar. Sailing over the bar. Nice little 1-2 combinations between the lines there from Real Madrid. It was Valverde, played it into Bellingham. Bellingham laid it off to Mbappe, and then Mbappe rifled the effort, but he absolutely skied it. Modric can't run and too small, they said originally. Yep. Look at the class he's shown over the many years at Real Madrid. Luka Modric, even for his international team, even with Croatia, the job that they've done as an international team, pretty punching above their weight over the last number of years in international tournaments. It's all down to that man, Luka Modric. He's not on the field yet, he was just warming up on the sidelines, but I'm sure he will make an appearance at some point. Which, as I said, will more than likely be his final one in Madrid white. Dembele on the turn. Just passing it between the lines, PSG. Just racking up the passes, keeping the control of this game, managing it. They were 4-0 up, of course, against Inter Miami at half-time in the round of 16 game that we watched. And they ended up winning 4-0 as Inter Miami actually had a good second half against PSG. They were off the boil of that second half of the round of 16, PSG, but the job was done by half-time, so it was no real worry. Albeit a very different opponent, but I probably feel something similar is in occurrence here this evening. The job was probably done at half-time, but Real Madrid has still the whole second half to try and change that. But as Jonah says in the chat, PSG v Chelsea final, 90% is what Jonah is saying. And it would be a struggle to disagree with that. Look, they're just passing around with ease at the minute. PSG just so crisply, so accurately, so sharply. Fabian Ruiz spins it all the way back to Nuno Mendes. As Dembele tried a little bit of a back heel flick, but didn't come off that time as Goulet was there to intercept. Here's Fran Garcia. Room ahead of him. Squares it across to Bellingham. He's got a little bit of space out in the right hand side here for Valverde. He's got any options? Not really, as they come back in field, Real Madrid. They do get a goal. If they do get a goal, Real Madrid, you never know, but not going to get a goal by doing that. Overhitting it out wide. Jude Bellingham, and out for a PSG throw. Let's update you from some other games, by the way. The Women's Euros is going on at the moment. England thumping the Netherlands earlier on by 4-0 in that early game. At the minute, France are thumping Wales 4-1. They've just scored a 4th goal there, and there's still about 25 minutes to go with that one. So it looks like England and France might be the favourites to be heading through from that group. France looking to go 2 wins from 2 in that group. In the Champions League qualifiers, it is Republic of Ireland v Northern Ireland in terms of club competition. In that one, hold on a second, here's Kvaratskhelia trying to curl one. He got nowhere near enough curl on that one, the Georgian. Well wide. As I was saying, in the Champions League qualifying first round, earlier on this evening, Zalgiris won 2-0 against... Who's that? Mamrun Spartans from Malta. FCSB won 3-1 against Inter of Andorra. Ludogorets 1-0 winners against Dinamo Minsk in that one. 2 more recognisable team names in those qualifiers. And as I said, in that game ongoing at the moment, it's Republic of Ireland v Northern Ireland in terms of their 2 clubs facing off against each other. Shelbourne 1-0 up against Northern Irish side, Northern Irish champions Linfield, who are 1-0 down at the moment in that one. And that is the early rounds of the Champions League qualifiers. Just to keep you up to date with everything else that's going on around the world of football at the minute. Fran Garcia. 57 minutes gone. PSG 3, Real Madrid 0. Madrid have had more possession, more promise in the second half, but minimal. Here's Vinicius Jr. though into the box as he tried to square it and get onto his right foot. He was blocked off well by Marquinhos and out for the throw. And this is going to be maybe a time the PSG are going to make some substitutions, and maybe Luis Enrique is feeling his side have maybe stepped off the mark a little bit. And Madrid have had the better of it in the second half so far. It's been a more even affair in the second half. And Marquinhos again giving away another foul. A lot of fouls given away from PSG in the second half so far, as we're going to make a double substitution. So Ousmane Dembele and Kvaratskhelia are going to come off for PSG. Ousmane Dembele netting that second goal, his 35th of the 24-25 campaign in all competitions. He's also going to see Kvaratskhelia go off with him, and Gonzalo Ramos and Bradley Barcola are coming on. There was only 9 players on the PSG bench, but these 2 would be 2 of the strongest and 2 of the top attacking subs. And Gonzalo Ramos and Bradley Barcola are on. As Goulet takes this free kick from Madrid into the box and headed away. Nicely taken down there by Valverde. It's a little bit of a tough spot. It's Garcia wide. Garcia with delivery. Away by Nuno Mendes. Better here from Madrid all of a sudden. Goulet out wide, it goes to Fran Garcia, who tries to keep it in play, but the sheer pace of the ball, and he couldn't keep it in. Yeah, Jonah says even if PSG don't win, a second wins Dembele the Ballon d'Or, considering the fact Yamal's Barcelona aren't even in it. That's true. I mean, his competitors, Dembele for the Ballon d'Or, aren't in this competition, so really it should be a clean run for him, whether PSG win it or not. But if they win it, it only strengthens his argument. There is who we talked about a few moments ago, who would undoubtedly make an appearance. It will be Luka Modric, who will be entering the fray in a moment or two. Maybe for the last time for Real Madrid. More than likely the last time, based on what is unfolding in front of us at MetLife this evening. Valverde just nipping in ahead of his opponents to keep the possession for for Real Madrid, sorry. Garcia. Chouameni. Bellingham. Asensio oversteps himself, and now Bradley Barcola's on the charge. He's on his own here, Barcola. Can he get an option in the middle? He cuts it back, but Chouameni's seen it coming and intercepts it well. And now a chance maybe for Madrid to break forward. Valverde. Into Vinicius Jr. central. Back to Valverde. Out wide it goes to Goulet now. In behind for Vinicius Jr. who cuts it back across. A little bit of a mix-up. Done away by PSG, but Nuno Mendes did enough. And now it's going to be coming up the other end again. Here's Bradley Barcola down the left. Not much pace in this counter from PSG. More of a walking pace there from Bradley Barcola. He turns it back to Gonzalo Ramos, and PSG will just recycle this for possession at the moment. Vitinha now. Out wide to Achraf Hakimi. Now Desiree Doué dribbling his way through, getting it across. Barcola tried it, couldn't quite reach it, and it's cleared away by Real Madrid. The two French teammates try to link up there, but they were a mere inch away from doing so on that occasion. And that's what I've seen. No matter how well Real Madrid start to turn up the gears and get involved in the game, it just seems like if PSG want a fourth, they will find a fourth. It seems like at any point they could just go, flick the switch, oh, there's a fourth goal, flick it off again. It's just that simple for PSG. It's crazy how it is that simple, but it is. Nuno Mendes. A little bit loose that from Gonzalo Ramos. Gotta say their passing's been a little bit more inaccurate in the second half. PSG, and now Bellingham's charging away, and Bellingham wanted to poke it with a shot, but it was well blocked by Beraldo. More promise for Real Madrid. More applause from the crowd as the ball whipped in again. There's Vinicius Jr. who was the target, but it's headed behind off Marquinhos for a corner. And that will be their first corner since the very second minute of the game. It's been a full game hour since Real Madrid had a corner. Could this corner count? Could it be crucial and maybe staking a claim? It's maybe going to be now or never for Real Madrid to try and charge a comeback. Mbappe takes the corner short. Linking up with Goulet. Mbappe with a cross. Punched away by Gianluigi Donnarumma and cleared out to a throw-in situation on the far side. They're going to make that change now, Real Madrid. They're going to make a triple change, the more I say it. It's going to see Eder Militao, Luka Modric, and Brahim Diaz coming on and replacing Jude Bellingham, Raul Asensio, and Vinicius Jr. So Bellingham, Asensio, and Vinicius Jr. off. Modric, Eder Militao, and Brahim Diaz coming on. A trifecta of changes. But the one cheered the most is that man Luka Modric. There's some Croatia shirts mixed in with the Real Madrid shirts in the crowd. And Luka Modric, unless they can find one of the best comebacks in recent history, Real Madrid, La Remontada is what it is known as in Spanish. Unless La Remontada comes true, it's going to be Luka Modric's final step out onto that field for Real Madrid and Los Blancos. Played better football in the second half, Real Madrid. Here's Fede Valverde. Right hand side, he definitely tries to find Mbappe, but it was cut out again by PSG on the edge of the box. And now Desiree Doué on the right hand side for PSG. Not in a hurry to get forward. Seems like PSG are more about managing and being a bit more possession based in the second half. There's no real need to force it forward for a fourth goal. That might just give Real Madrid, and probably has to this point, given Real Madrid a bit more of a say in the game. In terms of just having more possession. But nothing of real great tangible change overall. More changes coming. Speaking of change, going to see another double substitution coming in a moment here from PSG. I'm actually going to do it now. Fabian Ruiz and Desiree Doué are coming off. And Fabian Ruiz, 2 of the 3 goals that it would be sending PSG through to the final. They've got that knack about them, PSG. They don't always need their forwards to show up. They can have goals from anywhere. And 29-year-old Fabian Ruiz, the Spaniard, is the one that has 2 of their 3 goals so far this evening. It was his total of 3 goals in this tournament so far. He scored 1 against Atletico Madrid in the first group game. And he's got 2 tonight. And he also got an assist against Inter Miami. And Desiree Doué going off as well with him. And they've been replaced by Warren Zaire-Emery and Seni Mayulu. Are the 2 changes. Oh, nice work here from Madrid. Brahim Diaz. A little bit of a heavy touch allowed the defence to show up for PSG. They've kept it alive though, Madrid. Here's Modric. Modric with chip ball across. It's bobbling around, and Mbappe ensures that Achraf Hakimi has to put it behind for the corner. Modric working it into the box from the short corner. Just couldn't get anything out of it once again, but PSG couldn't clear their lines. Here's Eder Militao, keeping the rare attack of Real Madrid alive. Probably the most positive spell in the game in the last 5 minutes. Valverde. Militao down the right flank. Gets it in first time low and hard, but came off the foot of João Neves and goes out for the corner. They're starting to rack up the corners, Real Madrid. This is going to be their 4th corner of the game. Corner chicken short again. Fizz towards Modric. Back towards the man who took it in Arda Güler. And it's bouncing around the box. A bit of head tennis in the box as it's away by Ramos. Still not away as it's brought down by Vitinha. And now Barcola trying to burst away. And he's now found the space, and look at this for an option. It's Gonzalo Ramos. He's trying to burst through. He's trying to add a 4th. He's hit the Real Madrid defence. Here's Hakimi. Barcola. Vitinha. Now Neves. Vitinha again not forcing the issue once more. You can't come back from 3-0 normally unless you're Man United or Liverpool. That's true. Here's Barcola. It might not be 3-0 for much longer. Barcola across. So he tried to sneak it near post himself. But Thibaut Courtois, long in the tooth, knows what that is all about. And saw that one coming. Jonas says, what about the 3rd place game? There is no 3rd place game. It is just the final. Unless I'm wrong. No, there's just the final. There's no third place playoff for this one. Although it would have been a nice third place playoff if Real Madrid are going to be in that hypothetical. Real Madrid Fluminense would have been a very good third place playoff, but there is no third place playoff, unfortunately. So we can say Real Madrid and Fluminense have the same outcome. If that's the way it's going to end up, that will be something for Fluminense. They ended up with the same outcome of this game, of this tournament, as Real Madrid. I'm sure they'd be more than chuffed with that. If that becomes the case, joint third. Just over 20 minutes to go. As Nuno Mendes filing Brahim Diaz. We'll see a Real Madrid free kick. Real Madrid 3-0 down, and there's the original Ronaldo, R9, watching on. As Real Madrid are going to make another change here. We're going to see Gonzalo Garcia come off, and it's going to see Dani Carvajal coming on. 33 years old. He's a long veteran of this football club. His first appearance after that long injury that he's had. This will be his first appearance for Real Madrid since the 5th of October against Villarreal. Wow. There you go. Andy says, it's been an enjoyable tournament. I didn't think I'd enjoy it as much as I have. I agree with you. I think it's been a very entertaining tournament. I didn't think I would enjoy it anywhere near as much as I have. And with just one more game to go after this one, it will be fondly remembered, I think. Fondly remembered. Popping it around beautifully again, PSG. Unmatched, untouchable. A reminder for you can vote for your player of the match. You can go to play.fifa.com/POTM. Vote for your favourite player. Let us know in the chat who your favourite player is. As Ramos with an effort hit wide. And they tried to add a fourth there, PSG, but they weren't too far away from it when Ramos got in behind, and Militao had to get involved physically. And that he did to block what would have been a really good chance for Gonzalo Ramos. Here comes Real Madrid now. Valverde. Carvajal. Valverde on the turn, but no one to find in the middle. They couldn't keep it for very long there, Real Madrid, as the ball comes all the way back to Donnarumma. And he says, Barcola, he's a great player too. PSG have strength and depth, cover if injuries happen. 100%. Bradley Barcola, very good player. And another Frenchman as well. Another Frenchman. Here he is, Barcola. Took the touch over his man. And was taken out for that by Dani Carvajal. Thought, you're not going to do that and get past me. And he takes down Bradley Barcola. Wow. Here. That is dangerous from Dani Carvajal. He got his foot quite high there. He kind of booted the chest of Bradley Barcola. He gets a yellow card. He was certain he wasn't getting past him. That he didn't. Bradley Barcola. I don't think he needed to be that physical. Oh, Nuno Mendes. Sloppy ball there. Given away cheaply. Here's Mbappe. Now finds Brahim Diaz. Any goal surely for Real Madrid at this point will be a consolation, but you never rule it out. Diaz, a cross, kept alive. The shot from nothing is over the bar and deflected from Fede Valverde. And he thought, why not hit one? And he did hit it. Hit right through it. And it came off the left shoulder of Lucas Beraldo. Behind for the corner. Luka Modric will take. Left-hand side, their fifth of the game for Real Madrid. That's three more than PSG have had. Right-footed delivery, cleared away at the front post by Vitinha. Swung back to Arda Güler. Waiting for his opportunity. Rolls it round the corner. Chipped into the box by Carvajal, but cleared away by PSG again. Nice first touch there. Here's the shot, deflected. But deflected right towards Donnarumma from Fran Garcia. It comes to nothing. Just over 15 minutes to go now of this one, and it looks like what has been pretty evident for quite a long time might just be emerging. European champions who dethroned Real Madrid of the Champions League when they won it at the end of this year, thrashing Inter Milan in that final. They took the crown off Real Madrid for the current year. Looks like they might be taking this trophy off Real Madrid if they get to the final and win it. They would do exactly the same again, as Real Madrid are the current holders of the competition, albeit in a new format. Andy says 70 million to get to the final. That's big money. We do have a stoppage in play here for the moment at the drinks break. 150 to the winner. That's massive money for both finalists. It is indeed massive money for the finalists. It's not that probably PSG need that money, but it would go good for them to get that. Winning the Champions League, winning the league in France, winning the Cup in France, and then possibly winning the Club World Cup. That's a hell of a lot of money for PSG to get. Again, as I said, they don't really need it, but it would be good for them to get on the books, and certainly would do well for them in terms of not needing to dip into the oil fund. And PSG all handing out the tiles, handing out the drinks. They really need that little drinks break. And again, still shell shock on the faces of those Real Madrid players. Can you blame them? They didn't expect to see what was coming tonight. I think many of us did. That's what PSG are all about. What they have been all about. What they will continue to be all about. PSG. And they comes with a cooling break. Does a little bit of a party inside the MetLifeStadium with the music being played and the PSG fans bouncing to it. In the, as I said, 33-degree heat at MetLife. Some heat. Not as hot as what PSG have been today. I used that one earlier. Jonah says, Chelsea have been my boyhood club, but in recent years I've switched to Sunderland as my cousin now plays there, but if Chelsea win, I will celebrate with the rest of my family. Fair enough. Support who you want to support. No judgment here. Danny Carvajal to take this through in as we get back underway. With a final less than a quarter of an hour of this game. And the competition, the debate as to who was going through might have been curtailed come the half-time whistle. But you never know with Real Madrid. That's what we always have to keep saying, because they've done it before. Who would bet against them doing it again? I think it would be very unlikely, incredibly unlikely, but you never know. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That would be greatly appreciated. We hit 28,000 subscribers a couple of days ago, and we're on the road to 30 now. 29 comes first, and then 30,000. So it'd be great if you could help us on that journey to getting closer to 30,000. That would be great. Thank you all for joining us this evening for this one. All over the top here is a chance for PSG in behind. Oh, Ramos couldn't quite squeeze it through. And Eder Militao gets in the way. The block it behind for the corner. Those PSG fans as they make another change here. PSG Be their fifth and final substitution. It's going to see Lee Kang-in coming on, replacing Nuno Mendes. So Lee Kang-in in, and Nuno Mendes out. Corner for PSG on the right hand side. Vitinha over it again. Right where their fans are located. Right footed chip ball into the middle as the flick on header was well off target, but it's kept in play. Here is Neves. Not really finding any forward passes as they go all the way back to Donnarumma once again, as they haven't really needed to force the issue in the second half to find a fourth, and that's been quite evident from PSG. They've been happy to manage the game. They've been happy to maybe be off the ball for a while. Kind of allow Real Madrid to have a bit of possession. That's how in control of this game they've been. And they get a foul there. I'm going to make another change here in a minute. Real Madrid. Lucas Vazquez having a chat with his manager, Xabi Alonso, before joining us, as we have less than 10 minutes to go. PSG 3, Real Madrid 0. Fabian Ruiz scoring either side of an Ousmane Dembele finish in the first half, all inside the first 24 minutes of this game. A real purple patch for PSG, a real hot streak. And they probably could have had more with the chances and the opportunities they were creating. And you gotta say, it's not just about scoring. It has been perfect from PSG. It's actually, they haven't conceded a goal in this tournament since the 1-0 defeat to Botafogo in the second match day of the group. That's 3 full games without a goal conceded. 2-0 against Bayern, 4-0 against Inter Miami, and 2-0 against Seattle. And they conceded that goal in the 36th minute against Botafogo. So if you calculate that up, you're talking around about 300 minutes or so since they last conceded, which would be over 6 hours. Here is Lee Kang-in. Don't need to give him his full name. To Vitinha. Neves. Warns our Emery. Barcola round the corner. Run on here for Mayulu. He skips away from Eder Militao, but Militao got a touch to the ball, and it will be a PSG throw down the left-hand side. Maybe it's just starting to sink in for those Real Madrid players on the bench. Vinicius Jr. there, we saw, as Arda Güler is going to be replaced here by Lucas Vazquez. Another veteran player, Lucas Vazquez. He's on to be involved in the 11 that will end this game for Real Madrid, as they've used all of their 5 subs. Warren Zaire-Emery to take this throw in for PSG. Loops it towards the box. First touch and second touch from Real Madrid players as they break out of that tight squeeze that PSG were applying. And Mbappe feeds it wide here for Brahim. Up against Zaire-Emery, who tracked back well. Lovely little skill from Brahim Diaz. And he's worked it through to Valverde. He couldn't quite find a way through and had to rescue a corner out of that situation. Just a corner to Madrid. Lovely little bit of skill from Brahim Diaz on the back heel. Just flicking it past Zaire-Emery. And as Andy says in the chat, you can't say Madrid have played badly at all. Any other team Madrid would win this game normally. It's just been PSG have outclassed them. They've been just too good for them. Modric to take the corner. Header is on but wide from Eder Militao. It was a clean header, a free header, a rare great chance for Real Madrid, but nowhere near the target. Ultimately, in the end, there from Eder Militao. Good technique. Doesn't have the accuracy, though. And this is the one. This was the team that no one wanted to face. No one will want to face even next season. And that's PSG. They're seemingly hitting their peak. Maybe they're not even at their peak yet. With Luis Enrique, it's still very early in his tenure. And what he's been able to do with this PSG side, turn them from a team that couldn't get over the line in any difficult situation to a team that can defeat any team in any situation and in any which way they deem necessary. And that was epitomised when they beat Bayern Munich with 9 men in that one by 2-0. I mean, take 2 players out of any team in world football and they're nowhere near, understandably, nowhere near the side that they would be with 11, but somehow PSG get the job done and find a way to make it work. That's when you know a team are just the best in the business, the best at what they're doing and the best at anything really, when they can be seemingly in any normal circumstance massively disadvantaged and still find a way to claim victory. Not against any old half-wits. You know, they have come up against 2 very good sides in Bayern Munich and Real Madrid over the last 2 games, but no matter what they've done, neither of those 2 sides have been able to touch or even been on the same universe as PSG. Less than 4 minutes to go with the game. PSG 3, Real Madrid 0. They're just popping about simply, as they have been doing. Don't forget the Club World Cup final, which is more than likely, barring the most bizarrest of comebacks ever. There might be a chance here to have a goal. A good shot there from Militao, but denied by Donnarumma once again. As I was saying, the Club World Cup final, which will see Chelsea take on, more than likely, at PSG on Sunday, 8 o'clock UK time. Here's a chance. In behind here for PSG. Courtois off his line. They square it across. It's fallen for Barcola. Oh, the touch didn't quite work out. He's still got it alive here. Barcola lays it off on the turn. Ramos rifles it in. He waited for his chance. He waited for his time. He took his time. And Gonzalo Ramos puts the icing on top of the cake. And that celebration in full class. We lost a true great of football in the last week, Diogo Jota, and Gonzalo Ramos dedicates his celebration to the Liverpool man, the former Liverpool player, of course, Diogo Jota, who lost his life. And Gonzalo Ramos, as I said, puts the icing on top of the cake for PSG. Truly class. European royalty. And they have just carved Real Madrid open at will today. And that 4th goal, they didn't feel at any point in this half that they needed to get a 4th. But when they thought, you know what, why not? And as I said earlier, they flick a switch and they can turn it on. PSG 4, Real Madrid 0. Lovely little turn. And he absolutely stroked it past Thibaut Courtois with no great concern. And look at Luis Enrique jumping up and down in great delirium. Fabulous. Just fabulous. So impressed by PSG. Can't say this enough, says Andy. Indeed, I completely agree with you. Completely agree with you. Unbelievable. Last minute of the 90 then. Černević. Andy says, did it to Inter and so many other big teams this season. What a bar to try and reach for the rest of our teams. Indeed. I mean, PSG, you know, you think, oh, we're the European champions, we're going to walk this. You think that arrogance coming into a trophy and into a tournament like this might just unsettle them, might just derail them, but it's done quite the opposite. It's kind of reinvigorated them for more. And it's just wonderful to see a team not become overcome with their successes, if you know what I mean. Humble with it. Able to go again and see the next challenge as the next big thing, as the next one they need to overcome. And there's no additional time. The referee felt as sorry for Real Madrid as half of those Real Madrid fans in the stadium. He said no additional time. 90 is enough. And 90 was more than enough for PSG to find a way past Real Madrid. Ultimately, they only needed 24 minutes to basically have this game done and dusted. They were 3-0 up inside 25 when Ousmane Dembele added a second after Fabian Ruiz opened, and Fabian Ruiz found the third. And then it was Gonzalo Ramos that added a fourth right at the death. Luka Modric, his time at Real Madrid is up as they are out. Real Madrid, they're not going to pick up another trophy. They're going to be heading back and getting prepared for the new La Liga season. But there is just one more game for PSG before they will be doing the same as Real Madrid in preparing for the new campaign, and that is the biggest one, the final. They are moving on to the Club World Cup final, and convincingly so. 4 goals without reply from Real Madrid. Oh, well over 300 minutes, well over 6 hours without conceding. This is a team at the peak of their powers, and they're only at a very tender age, a majority of this PSG team. Luis Enrique and his side are ruling the roost across Europe, and they might just be doing it across the world. They've got one more game to go before that is confirmed. Fabian Ruiz wins the player of the match. There could have been a number of players that could have won it in PSG colours, but he is the one that takes it with the 2 goals tonight. A final score from this second semi-final at the MetLifeStadium in the Club World Cup. It is finished. PSG 4, Real Madrid 0. Wow. What an outcome. An outcome that I don't think many of us saw before kick-off this evening. How one-sided it would be. But in the end, Real Madrid completely demolished by a PSG side that were just too good for them. And that is the story of this one. As I write in my notes the score, I'm ready for the final, which we can now confirm who it will be. There it is, the final, right in front of your eyes. Chelsea of England against France side PSG, the European champions. It's Chelsea v PSG, the Club World Cup final, this Sunday at 8 o'clock, live on LFS, live from the MetLifeStadium in New York, New Jersey. Right, that is it from us. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been great to have your company tonight for this one. What a performance from PSG, the European champions, outclassing Xabi Alonso's Real Madrid, who still have a lot to learn if they're going to reach that level under his tenureship. But we'll find out what they have got to come in the new season. For now, their season is over. The time for Luka Modric is over at Real Madrid, and the time for Real Madrid in this trophy is over. But PSG moving on, and they will be in one more game, and they will face Chelsea in a couple of days' time. Thanks for your company. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.